Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Um, for those just joining in, this is a recording from stream, which will be posted on YouTube later. Today, I intend to show my viewers how to play the Game of Thrones board game. I'll be going through a tutorial. I haven't done it before, so I'm not sure what to expect, but I do know how to play the game really well. So I'll try to explain stuff best of my ability where possible. So let's get going. So I have to play the first one, it seems. Doesn't tell you how to play. Welcome to Westeros. In this mission, you will take the role of House Stark, one of 6 great houses seeking dominance. Blah, blah. Okay, planning phase. Each game round has 3 phases. Westeros phase plays react to events. Planning phase plays secretly assign orders. Action phase players take turns resolving the orders. After 10 rounds, the player who controls the most castles wins. That's kind of true, but if you control 7 at any point, castles or strongholds, they count the same thing, you win immediately. So it's first to 7, but at the end of 10 rounds, if you control the most, you win. In planning phase, players must assign orders to each area they have unit on. Assign march orders for your units to move in Winterfell. So the only way for you to move is to place one of these orders. So there's going to be 5 different ones. They'll probably show you what they do. But yes, the only way for you to move is to place a march order on the territory that you have troops on. And then you confirm, since I don't have troops anywhere else. Also, if you got this game, you can zoom out all the way by scrolling out. Yeah, tab does nothing, so by scrolling out, so you can have a whole view of the map and the current strength. Okay, so we reach the action phase. So each player resolves the orders. You usually resolve orders by your position on the Iron Throne track. There will be 3 influence tracks here later. So you go, whoever's highest goes first. A single match order allows your units to move any number of units from that area into adjacent areas. So adjacent means ones that's touching, but red rivers you cannot. And also, I don't know if they're gonna explain this later, but I might as well cover it. If your area is touching a sea and you have your own ship in that sea, you can use the ship as a bridge. So, for example, I can't go from here to there, but if I had a ship here, because my area is touching, and I could use this ship as a bridge. If you have 2 ships, you can use both of them. So if I had a ship here, I could go all the way from here to here in the same turn. They might cover it, but I'll just mention the ship while I remember. Select units to resolve. Okay, move one of the units to White Castle and the other to Moat Cailin, White Harbor, and the other to Moat Cailin. So you click on one, you move it, and you click the other one, you move it. Confirm match. Okay, once again, I don't know if they'll cover something, but you can only start 1 combat per order. So if there was enemies here and here, I could only move one of them in. I could still move one of my guys into somewhere else where there's no enemies, but only 1 combat can be started per order. Because Winterfell is your home ground, you maintain control even if you have no units there, so long as it isn't occupied. Yes. The little symbol here refers to castles and strongholds. Okay, so they explain it. With the player control 7, they win immediately without needing to wait for the end of the turn's turn. Okay, so now they cover what I was going to say. Westeros Phase. So at the start of every round, except the first round, Westeros cards are drawn that affect all players. This phase is skipped on the first round. Yes. So they're all different ones. There's 7 in this deck, 7 in this deck, 7 in this deck. 3, there, I think 2 of the same, and then 1 nothing happens. So Mastering came, so you can Mastering card lets players add new units to castles and strongholds they control. Castles provide 1 point for Mastering. Select the castle in one harbor and Mocha Lane to master single footman in each area. Okay. So you click on the area when you can master. And normally you could master here, but sometimes it's not letting me. Okay, it's letting me. Strongholds provide 2 points. So a knight is worth 2 points, a footman is worth 1 point, and this tells you how many maximum of those you can have on the whole battlefield. This is the same for each of the 6 factions, so this doesn't change. So you can only have 5 knights, maximum 10 footmen. There's going to be other units later that should tell you how many, but keep a number on this, is how many maximum you can have. Knights are twice as powerful footmen in battle. Yeah, nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's a tutorial. Yeah, what the heck? A raven arrived with news that Greyjoy pirates have been attacking the south. March your troops to the coast to defend from the sea scum. Okay. So this wants me to march. This wants me to march. Okay. I've unlocked a new token, Consolidate Power. So normally this comes unlocked in the game. You don't unlock once the game goes. The crown symbol represents power. Each player begins the game with 5 crowns and can increase the crowns by resolving Consolidate Power orders. It's used for keeping control of areas you abandon. So if you move out from here today, if you want to keep this area, you put a token down. Bidding on influence tracks, which we'll cover later, and fighting of wildlings. So they want me to place a crown here on this unit. So we'll do it. Consolidate Power, we'll just call them crowns. That's what they are. Okay, in turn order, players then takes resolving march orders of their choice. So turn order is going to be again based on the Iron Throne Rata. March one of your units from White Harbor to Moat Cailin so they can join your other forces. So you want me to march one of them. What? To Moat Cailin. Oh, and end the turn. Oh, let me move more. Okay, well. Time to show the salty scrundle. What the heck? What the north is made of. Okay. Because opponent didn't have any march orders, it's my turn again. He's just full of power. When marching, you're not allowed to move into more than one area that would start the battle. Yeah, I got ahead of myself before. So now he wants me to march all 3 units into Greywater's Watch. This tells you the enemy strength here. So they have 1 footman, so 1. They have 2 footmen, so 2. Different staff affects differently. Okay. Do you want to spend the token? Do you want to spend the token to keep control of Moat Cailin? So if you want to keep this area, you have to spend one of your tokens. Sometimes it's a good idea, sometimes it's not a good idea. I'll cover that when I actually play the game. So we left the token, so the area remains ours. The combat is resolved by comparing the strength. Footmen are worth 1 strength, knights are worth 2 strength. Each footman adds 1 to its total strength. Each player might then play a house card to add to the strength. So both houses start with all houses start with 7 house cards. They're all the same in terms of power at the top. So this is 0 strength, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Everyone has that setup. Just the different effects on the actual cards. Well, they're different for each house. So all of them have like special abilities. So here we'll start with. It's forcing me to use him, so we'll use him. So my opponent played 1 strength guy. I'll explain what these swords and shields and towers do later, because they probably explain. And I played the 1, I played the 2, so I'm on 5, he's on 3, or you can see the total strength. You win the battle. After battle, the losing side suffers casualties equal to the number of swords played in the winning side. So actually, if you just beat the opponent, his troops don't die; they run away somewhere where they can escape, like legally in the territory. So he can run away here. He can run away to his main area if he has a ship at the bridge. The only way to actually kill them is to attack them twice and win in same turn, or with swords. So if you have a sword, you kill that many troops. But however, each of this each of these towers lets me ignore one of the swords on my card. So his sword only is applicable if he wins the combat. So if you have a card with a sword and you lose the combat, it doesn't do anything. You don't actually kill one of the opponent's troops. So swords only matter when you win combat, and towers only matter when you lose combat. So he cancels my sword, so I don't kill any. So now they can retreat somewhere, and they have white flags on them. The ones that retreat have white flags. Since the Greyjoy footmen were not killed in battle, they must retreat to an adjacent area as routed units. That's not exactly correct. They can retreat to any area legally. So at the moment they could retreat here or here, because there's no ships here, but if there was a ship here and here, they could have even retreated to here. Or if there's another ship here later on, they could retreat all the way there. So they can retreat as long as it's a legal move. Router units can't march and contribute no strength in combat. If a router unit is defeated in another combat, it's destroyed. Yeah, so if the white flag ones, if you attack them twice in the same turn and you win, you kill them. So if I attack here again, there will be a knight, which shows the strength of 2, and they will contribute 0 strength because they're routed. So, okay, supply. So there's a new turn, so we're adjusting supplies. Supplies are the barrels. Should explain. Okay. When the supply card is drawn, each player updates the supply limit to equal the number of barrels in areas they control. So when this card is drawn, you count all the barrels and you move up on this track or down and make your armies like they are. I should probably explain what it means. Supplies determine the number of areas players might have 2 or more units. Areas with a single unit do not require supplies. Your current supply limits are displayed as dots next to the helmets by your supply barrel. The yellow dots show which of your supplies are in use. If a player has lost territory since the last supply card was drawn, they might have to remove units to conform with the new supply limit. You can review the supply by clicking it. Okay. So a little bit more on the supplies. I don't know how. So basically, what they're saying is like whether how many barrels you have, is how many armies you can have. So if I have 2 barrels at the moment, so I can have one army of 3 units in one area. It doesn't matter if there are 3 knights or 3 footmen or 2 footmen, 1 knight. You can have 3 models in this area, and I can have 2 areas with 2. So I can have 2 here, 2 here. All others can only have 1 because 1 doesn't count as anything. So if I have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, they don't count as this. But if one of my units wants to go in there, you have to be from an area with 2 units to make sure that like I can't overgo on these limits. If next turn I lose territories with the barrels don't go down, or if I gain one with barrels, they don't go up unless this card is drawn at the start of the turn. So even if you have an army like this, like a big army of 4/3 many units, and you lose all your barrels, you can still have the army until this card is drawn. Another thing is, if your army, say you have an army of 4 and you lose supply and then the card is drawn, say I went from 5 barrels to 4 and I had an army of 4, I will actually have to kill 1 unit to meet the supply limit if this card is drawn. So it means reconcile armies means adjust armies to your new supply limit. You don't actually get to produce armies, it just means if you're over, you kill units. Sorry, my noise switch. Okay, that should cover it. Okay, next card. Each player collects a power token or crown for each crown icon on an area he controls, and each control port with an adjacent enemy ship, or without an adjacent enemy ship. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? You get crowns for having ports. Okay. So each player collects 1 crown for each area of the crown. So you tell me how many. So I have 1 because I had 1 crown here. I don't control anything else with the crown, and my opponent will got 1 crown here and 1 crown here because his home area, he controls. And last one, nothing happens. Okay, take 2 more castles from Greyjoys to complete this scenario. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I can just play until I take 2 castles. So Greyjoy has a castle here and here. So let's move you. And we move you. And we have a guy here. Let's just move them also. We'll just keep moving. Okay, so they keep on being silly. So we move all 3 of them into this area. So they have a defense of 1 at the moment, they have a defense of 4, and they're not moving, so there's no risk of them attacking me. So we'll just take this area. And do I want to keep this area? So the way I decide with keeping areas, because you lose 1 token permanently, well, not permanently, you lose the token until they recapture this area, and then you still lost, but you can regain it. And you can have maximum of 20 tokens, like 20 tokens available. You can never go over 20, and they use forbidding. So enemy of 11. I like keeping areas with barrels and castles and strongholds if I know the enemy is not gonna recapture it really easily. In this case, they would, but I'll keep it for the sake of this tutorial. Areas with crown, I don't like keeping because the only way it's worth it is if the card comes to get power tokens for each area with a crown, and then you only get 1, so you have to come up twice to make it worth it. So if they only have a crown, I don't keep it. If they only have a barrel, I do keep it. If they have 2 things, I generally keep it. Some areas have crown and a barrel, some have 2 barrels, and some have 2 crowns. So something like this could be worth it to keeping. Well, this is definitely worth it because this has a castle already. I think it's actually nothing that only has 2 crowns. and no area. So this has 2 barrels, so it's really worth keeping. Unless enemy can take it, kill it next turn. If they can't, then keep it. So we'll keep it for the sake of this tutorial. And we're fighting. So we're strength 3 versus his 1, and we get to use the house cards. You can also check what house cards your opponent has by clicking his profile. So his highest one is a 3. I don't. So those are the influence tracks, but we worry about that later. So his highest one is a 3. So I will need a 2, at least a 2, to win this combat. So I'll play a 2. He plays his 0. This card normally has an effect, so there's this one, but it's tutorial, so it's not going to show you. So I take one of his cards up, and we move. So we move this guy closer. And oh no, I have to click. Oops, sorry. So I'm gonna resolve this one. We'll end, and we'll move this guy into here also because we're allowed to have an army of 2. And do I want to keep this area? Yes, I do, because it has a castle and a port, which is being silly at the moment. Okay, so mastering, we will get to recruit units. You have unlocked the ability to spend 1 mastering point to upgrade your footman to a knight. Yay! Okay. So I still have to stick by the supply limits, but a footman takes 1 supply, and knight takes 1 supply. Every model takes 1 supply. They just different value. Knights counts as 1 unit towards the supply, even though they're twice as powerful. Just explain. So in this area, we can't actually make more footmen because we can't have an army of 4, but we can upgrade. We have 2 points here because this is a stronghold, so we can, and it takes 1 point to upgrade. So to make a new knight takes 2 points. To upgrade from footman to a knight takes 1 point logically. So we will upgrade 2 footmen here, 2 knights. Over here we have 2 points also. So normally you could make a ship here, but it's tutorial, so we just make that. We'll make a footman, and actually here I'm gonna make 2 foot. I could make a knight, but I'm gonna make 2 footmen to reach the limit. So as you can see, you will see soon, my armies will be full. So now we bid on the 3 influence tracks. When Clash of Kings, so this can only happen from. Sorry, I need to scratch my nose. Oh, sorry. Okay. So this can only happen from turn 2 onwards. When Clash of Kings is drawn, players bid the power tokens on the 3 influence tracks, which there will be 3 here. Today we'll bid only on the War Focus Fiefdom track, which determines tiebreakers. Each player chooses a bid number each player chooses a bid number of crowns in which they spend whether or not they end up with the highest bidder. Players are then ordered from the highest to lowest in bidding order. Yeah. So everyone secretly bids. So if you're playing with your friends, you can talk to each other, but you can lie as much as you want. So and you use your tokens to try to get the sword. What the sword means is, they'll probably explain. So let's hold on. So Greyjoy has 14 available tokens. I have 5. Normally you bid on 3 different tracks, 1 by 1. So you wanna spend some on the first track, maybe spend some on the second one, spend some on the third one. They all do different things. So you concentrate. You try to figure out which ones are more worth it to you. In this case, the game's gonna end. So we bid all 5 on this one. So we bid 5, they bid 4, even though they have 14. It's nothing to bid on, so they're being retarded. So we get the sword. So what the sword means, they just explained. Okay, so what the sword means is once per turn you can add +1 strength to any of your combats that you take in. This is after the house cards are shown. And also, if there is a draw, so if it's 5 against 5, 3 against 3, the player higher here wins the draw. Okay, once per round, they're just repeating what I'm saying. Okay, I have unlocked a new order. Support allows unit in its area to add the strength to combat in any adjacent battle. Supports can be key to winning your conflicts and can also be used to aid allies or enemies if you choose to. So, we move the movement here and we'll support from here. So they can only support anything that's touching this area. They ground units cannot support sea. Sea units can support ground combat. So if I end up getting attacked here, I'll get the support. But if I end up attacking into here, I will not get the support because the combat's not in this area. We'll just do a movement. Okay, so they're not actually attacking me, so we're gonna win this tutorial. Okay, let's just win because they're not doing anything. I didn't attack all my troops because it doesn't matter. So their highest card is a 3, so they can be on 5. I will, for the sake of trying to show you the sword, I will just use a card 1 and hope they get they use a 3. Which they do. They use a 3, so I end up losing the combat. But now I can use my sword to add +1 to this combat strength. And because I'm higher on this track, I end up winning draws. I could have taken a 2 card to automatically win this without using a sword, but I need to show you what a sword does. So if you're highest on this track, 5th track, you will get to use the sword once per turn. Not per combat, once per turn. So we take fine work, my lord. Okay, so we won the first tutorial. We go straight to the second one, Siege of Pike. Give me a second, I need to grab a drink. Okay, I'm back. I washed my face too. Okay. Now, part 2. It's going to do with ships. Ships. Okay. The Greyjoys have declared open rebellion against the 7 kingdoms. You have orders from King to master ships and set sail for Pike to defeat the leader, Lord Balon. So, okay, so let's see how they explain this. You have unlocked special version of Consolidate Power with a star icon. When assigning to a castle or stronghold, the Consolidate Power order allows you to master units instead of collecting power tokens. This gives you an option, just to clarify to people. when you place it in an area of a castle, you have the option of either getting 1 power token for the crown or make units. If it's in a castle, you make equivalent of 1 point to spend. If it's in a stronghold, you make equivalent of 2. So they want me to place it in my main area, which we will, and end my turn because they didn't give me more troops. So the Greyjoys are moving the ship. And they made 2 ships. Okay, so as you can see, you get the option of either taking this or mastering, which will master. And now we can make the other new unit ships. So once you making a ship, it costs 1 point. You can have maximum of 6, and you can add it to any sea that your land is touching with the castle. So this sea, this land ends up touching here and here. So it wants me to place a ship here, so we'll make 1 there. You can also add it to a port, but it wants me to add 2 here. I'll explain ports in the future if they don't explain. So nothing happens on the first card. Second card, each player collects crowns. So I get +1, and nothing happens. So planning phase. So you can assign march orders here. It wants me to keep on marching with everything. Okay, so I don't have much choice. Ships might be used to transport to other land areas. March a single footman from Winterfell to Flint's Fingers using your ship as a bridge. Yeah, so as I said, normally you cannot walk here, but because this is a bridge, you can. He should have went this way, it would look cooler. Not like freaking whatever. And we fight. So remember, this time he's higher than me. No, it's already tell me urgent to play. So I won, even though he has a sword, so he could have won, but he's choosing not to win. Okay, now we can march. He wants me to march both my ship into this sea. If you want to leave this as a bridge, you have to have 1 in each sea. If you want them to move to here, or wherever this sea is touching. Mastering card has been drawn. Well, you can read before it even shows. Okay, so we can master units. It wants me to upgrade my Footman to a knight, which will. And again. And so 1 point to upgrade that Footman to a knight and make another ship into this sea. Oh, they're adding the Iron Front track. Okay. The Clash of Kings has been drawn this time. We will hold bid on the Iron Front track in addition to fiefdom. So you bid on both, one after the other. Positions on Iron Front track determine an order which players the order in which players resolve action. The player at the top of the track gains the Iron Throne ability, breaking all ties outside of combat. So what it means is if you're higher here, you go before people. So if you're first, you go first. All your orders are resolved first. Also in the game, orders are resolved 1 at a time. So you resolve 1, then the second person resolves 1, then all the way to 6th person, then back again. The first person resolves 1, blah 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 blah. You also determine ties. So if 2 people bid the same on, say, this, you choose who goes higher, as well as Wildings Attack. If you're higher on the throne, you deserve who gets the bonuses if there's a draw. So I want me to bet 3 on this one. So remember, I have 6 to spend. And the Greyjoys bid 2, so we end up with the Iron Throne. Now Greyjoys has 3 tokens left, and I have 3 tokens left. and we're beating for fiefdom. We want us to beat 3 again, and remember, we automatically win this if we beat 3 because we win tiebreakers now because we have the Iron Throne. So they beat 3 and we beat 3, but yeah, we choose tiebreakers. So actually you can choose here. You don't have to put yourself first, but why would you not? Using the Iron Throne's tiebreak ability, you beat the Greyjoys to first place on the fiefdom track, gaining the first player ability of the Valyrian Steel Blade. Okay, and number 3, nothing happens. So we have the unlock the defense order. There are 5 orders all up. And raid order. Okay. Raids can be used to remove enemy support, consolidate power, or even raid order. Okay, so he wants me to defend this area. He wants me to raid from here. He wants me to make more troops here. He wants me to support here. Okay. Alright, so it forced me to make my moves. Remember, all orders are resolved in turn order. So raids at the and they also follow the process here. So raid orders always first, followed by combat orders, followed by consolidate power orders. Raids are the first orders to be resolved in action phase, followed by march, consolidate power, and support orders are resolved during combat. Sea areas are especially useful for supporting and raiding. Sea areas can and support and raid land areas. Land areas can't support or raid sea areas. Because you are higher on the Iron Throne track, you'll get to raid first. So I get to select my... So I get to use my raid, and I can either raid his raid or raid his support. It would be better to raid support, but I'm not attacking, so it's no point. So it's forcing me to... Wait, no, it's making me raid his support. So now if he attacks, he does not have support here anymore. Your opponent is now left with no adjacent orders to raid. So raids can raid raids, but I have no more orders here, so he has nothing to raid, so go away. So he's marching to attack me. So why I have 4 here and not 2? So 1 is for defense order, he adds +1 to my combat strength, and now I also have support from this sea into this combat. So I'm on 4, as you can see here. Knight, strength of 2, support from Bay of Ice, and defense order. You are being attacked, your initial strength of 4, 2 for your knight, 1 for supporting ship, 1 for defense. And Greyjoy has up to a card of 4, so he can be on 5 the most. I have a sword, so I win any draws, plus I can add +1, so might as well use a 0. Oh, and okay, we use Caitlyn Greyjoy, so they're gonna reveal the proper text of all these cards without text soon, so they're revealing her strength. So her strength is if you have a defense order in the combat, its value is doubled. So the defense went from 1 to 2. Actually, the highest defense on the order you can get 2. So she would add 2 plus 2, so make it 4. But in this, and I win tiebreaker because I'm higher here. Your opponent's footman must run away to the area that he came from. So if you're attacking and you lose, you go back to the area you came from. Now he wants me. Now after all combats have been resolved, so everyone's raid orders, we move on to Consolidate Power. So he wants me to make more troops. And this is the final unit that appears in the game. It's a siege engine. They count as 4 when attacking or supporting. So this doesn't say here, but I'm very sure they count as 4 when supporting an attack on a stronghold. They I'll double check in the game later. But when they're defending or attacking an area without the stronghold, they count as 0. And they always get destroyed if they lose combat. So the last icon here is going to be upgrade the Footman to a siege engine. So they take 2 points. Siege engines contribute 4 strength when attacking or supporting combat against castles or strongholds. Okay, so I was right. Yeah, I remembered it. Downside to siege engine is that they provide no strength while attacking an area without the castle, and are also useless on defense. To do supply, so the barrels came just as supplies, so we didn't have any extra barrels, so we're on 1 supply still. That is sad combat. Each player collects crowns, and number 3, nothing happens. The king has ordered that you lay siege to Pike this round. His master of ship will place your orders for you during the planning phase, but it's up to you how you resolve them. Don't place ships for me. I mean orders, I already know how to do it. Okay, goal. Defeat Lord Burnley and Pike this round. Okay, remove enemy. So you can, if you raid and remove the crown, what actually happens is you gain 1 and they lose 1. So if you raid the crown, okay. So the way to get to this area this turn is you have to build. So I actually know easily how to take this, but let's just explain to everyone. So this area is going to have a defense power of 4 because of the 2 ships, 2 knights, plus it has an extra 1 defense for defense order, and your home area, they have a garrison, so until it gets defeated, as you can read, it provides 2 strength. So actually their initial defense is going to be 7. So I should attack with a power of at least 6 to win this. And I can't attack yet because I don't have a bridge here. So the first thing I have to do is move a ship into this area, which he has 2, to make a bridge. And while leaving 1 ship here, so there's 2 options. I can either take this sea and move from this point into here, or I can take with 1 ship and move from this point using 2 bridges into here. I'll do it from here because it's looks more dramatic. So we'll attack. So I'm on 2. I'm on 1. He's on 2. His highest card left is a 3. Here, okay, they're actually showing what his cards are. Damn it. So I should use a 3, and then I can use a sword if I need to. Yay! So I'm on 4, he's on 3. So his ships run away somewhere where they can, so to here. Now, if I attack with this knight against 7, I'll be 2 on 7, I'll most likely lose. So what you can do before that is you can either move... I can either move my siege engine knight to here and attack, or I can move my knight into here. I'll keep this area, and then I can move all 3 of my units using this as a bridge, these 3 ships as a bridge, into here. Because I made the connecting bridge. So now I'm attacking from my main area into here. And I have a combat of 8. Because... show it. 2 knights and siege engines 4. They combat 7, garrison, 2 knights in defense order. So, as you can see, they updated the opponent's cards. So they actually show the text of this card, which reduces my combat strength of my card to 0. So this is one of the best cards, if not the best card in the game. Basically means Greyjoy will add a 2, and whatever my one is, it will be 0. So if I select a 4, let's just select a 4 for the sake. Actually, I don't even need to select a 4. Let's be logical. So they have a 3, so they can be on 10 maximum. So I only need to be on 10 to win it. Oh look, they did it. So they're reducing my 1 to 0. So they on 9 now, I'm on 8, so this counts as 0. As you can see, Grey and Umbar 0, and they still get the 2. But I have my blade to make this a draw. And I win draws because I'm high on this position. End up killing them. I end up killing them because there's no land area they can retreat to because I control the sea. If they had a ship in the sea, they could run away into any area they don't own. And if they had a ship in a port now, I can capture it. The Greyjoy fleet is yours. When you defeat an area of a port, you gain control of all ships in the same area. Give me my freaking ship. Ah, that was easy. I mean, that explains some stuff. Okay. Let's do the last one. Which I wonder if the tutorial actually explains enough of the game for you guys. Winter is coming, and growing army of wildlings barbarians threatens our lands in the north. Increase your crowns so you can help the Night's Watch repel the Wilding attack when it comes. You can try. So now they added this. Oh, and they added the third influence track. Okay, you can track the Wilding strength above. They attack when the strength reaches 12, or a Wilding attack card is drawn, which is in the third set. And okay, so now I have all orders available. All orders are unlocked. Star orders offer additional abilities and bonuses. Basically, they're stronger, but are limited by your position on the King's Court track. So because you start in the second position, you must assign 2-star orders. So there are 5-star orders, but you can only place as many as equivalent to your position here. So the first person can place 3-star orders, second person 2, third person 1, and the last person 0. So in a 6-player game, it goes 3, 3, 2, 1. There's a special thing that if you're highest, you also get a special ability. We'll touch on that later, hopefully. Okay, assign your orders now to grow your kingdom and collect power tokens to help Wildings. So he wants me to gain more power tokens, so we'll probably make more units in the kingdom here. So that's way to do that. And he wants me to control 3 castles, so let's get straight on to that. And this is actually the army that Stark start off with in the 6-player game. Greyjoy same, Lannister same, Baratheon same. So this is actually the proper starting positions. So now we have one more opponent to worry about. So we want to move our ship with a star to here, and these guys can move. So this is actually kind of what a reasonably decent opening. So opening is like the set of first moves. that many Stark players do. Once you learn more about the game, go on some forums. A lot of people talk about openings because opening moves is something that's not impacted by events in the game. So there's a set of ones that are good, some that are not worth it. For example, if I were to defend here this turn, it makes zero sense because there is no possibility of uh, any kind of attack from any opponents uh, onto my hometown. So this kind of thing would make no sense. If you want to, this lets me make troops. Same as raiding, it will make no sense for me to raid here because um, there's no there. It's impossible to raid anything on the first turn with at least with this faction. Some other factions or houses maybe could touch up on that later. Element. Also, they didn't explain it. So these are the proper tokens that will be used in the game. So let's explain what they use. This is the actual ones. So this means that you march, but if you start a combat, your unit is at -1. This means that you march, and if you start combat, your units are +0. Oh, stop moving mouse. And this means that they are +1. So as you saw, normally these ones are it's really good if you hover over them and tell you exactly what they do. But let's explain it to people quickly. So these ones, if you place it on territory, you gain 1 star. But if your territory, 1 crown. But if your territory has a crown on there, you get that additional crown. So if I had a troop here, which I probably will later, I will get 1 crown for this token and 1 crown for here. If I placed it here, I will get 1 crown for this token and 1 crown for this one and 1 crown for this one. So I'll get 3 crowns or power. Normally, raid orders can only raid support, Consolidate Power, or other raid orders. The star one lets you raid defense as well. This is just a stronger version, plus it allows a 3rd march. Normally you can only make 2 marches, but if you have this one, you can make a 3rd march. And it's a stronger one, same as defense. It adds +2 instead of +1, and same as support. Support just adds +0, but this one adds +1. Okay, so I said I want to move them with a star, and then with a 0. The reason these ones are getting star, because there is a chance of combat for them. So my opponent, Baratheon, is higher on the Iron Throne, and he gets to move his ship first. Or he can choose to move them second later, but he could go into the sea, which then I would have to fight for to get back. So I'll be better. And in real game, this sea is kind of important to control for Stark. So you want to be at the advantage. You're also higher on here, but you're not first. Greyjoy is first. Okay, so I get to do my movements first. So he still hasn't moved here. So just to be safe, I don't want to move into here yet. So I will use these guys. March order first to get my castle. And I do want to keep the castle, so we'll leave a token there. So I complete my first objective. Okay, so I don't have a choice. I can either not resolve this or move in here. I actually noticed that this is at -1, so even if they attack me, I'll be at the same strength as if I was +1 and attacking them, so it doesn't matter. So we'll move into the sea. the Erie and King's Landing are neutral locations. Neutral forces are defeated by marching with this strength, required strength, into it, and you don't use cards and you don't use your sword. So if I want to capture this, I have to move 6 troops worth of power here, or have total including support of 6. Okay, so this one's attacking me. They on 0 because they have a march order. But now they get all the cards with the text. And we can see the cards. So this is all the proper cards with all the text. So read them at your own spare time. They're good to read. And remember, they have the swords. They'll win a draw. So if I want to be safe, I'll play a 4 and they can still lose, actually. Do they have any cards with a sword? They do. They have a sword here and a sword here. So I don't really want to lose that Footman. So I'll play something with a defense token. So I'll play, say, Roderick, whatever it's called. And okay, so if you're attacking, so they play the high cards, so he's on 3. Because he's on 0 plus 3. I played the 1, but I don't lose any casualties. So I have to run away. And like I said, you can run away to any area that is legal. So it doesn't have to be that I came from here to there. I don't have to run away to there. And I can use this as a bridge. So let's run away. Let's run away. Maybe to here. The reason I want to run away to here is because if support, if supply comes, I'll have a barrel. Oh, yeah. Also, once you use a card, you can't use it again until you use all your ones, and then the last one you use, you can't use, but you get all the other ones back. So sometimes it's good forcing fights against your opponent using weak cards, as long as you're not suffering casualties, even one fight you don't want to win, because you end up making him use his cards. And here we'll make troops. So we will make 1 ship from there to this sea, just to defend against potential Greyjoy invasion. And we'll make a Footman. So we have an army of 3 now. So nothing happens. But every time the card has this icon, the Wildlings go up by 2 in power. They automatically attack once they reach 12. Okay, so he explains it. What happens when Wildings attack? We'll get to that when it happens. So now we're bidding on the 3 influence tracks. So remember, guys, this time there is 3 tracks to bid on. So we have to concentrate how to spend our tokens. So here you decide draws, so and you go first before the opponent. So I want to go before Greyjoy, but I don't need to be first, so we'll just bid 1 here. And everyone else bid 0, which end up me getting the Iron Throne. I don't decide the draw for here yet, because the owner was Baratheon. Okay, over here we actually want to be above Greyjoy again, but I don't want to spend all my tokens, so I'll go 2 on here. So Lannister got 4, so they get the sword. I got 2, so I'm automatically second, and here I decide who's higher or lower, because they bet the same, and I decide draws. So we make Greyjoy last, because we don't like Greyjoy. And now bid on the Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the messenger raven token. So if you're first here, uh, if you're first, you get 3 stars, 2, 1, 0. But if you're first, you also get access to the messenger raven ability. So at the start of your planning phase, so that's when you place your orders. You can at the end of it, sorry, you can choose. You can either swap one of your orders. So after all the orders are revealed, you see your opponents and yours. You can swap one of your orders uh, for one you haven't used, or you look at the card in the Wild Index to see what happens if Wildings attack, and you can choose to put on top or bottom. So you either get information of what will happen in attack, or if you place the if you thought they're gonna attack you and they're defending, then you can swap one of and you were supporting there, you don't want to support anymore because there's no threat, you can swap that order. So it's a very useful ability. I only have one, so I'll bid one on there. And Greyjoy bid 3, so Greyjoy gets that, and I can decide who has a star or not. I'll actually give star to Lannister, so Greyjoy went off deep. That's okay. Okay, defense orders cannot be played this turn, and this goes up by 1. And there's one here that could trigger the Wildings Attack. Have a read what these cards do. It's probably somewhere. Is it here? Somewhere here. You can look at discard pile also, because that'll show you what will not come up, or like what are the chances of something else coming up. So that's kind of important. Okay. So this time I'm gonna be supporting from this C, because I'm gonna try to get this back. They're gonna be attacking. This guy is going to move. We're actually gonna move +0 here. And you are going to... We could attack this area from my castle instead of here. But we are going to move from there also, so we have 3 move orders. As you can see, they're trying to raid, which if I try to make more troops, they will have succeeded, but they can't raid this area. So they're stealing power from each other, so they have no raids. So the support. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we're gonna move one of these guys into here. One of these guys into here. So you can only place orders on areas you have a territory in. And they have crowns, so they're very good to get more power, so we'll do that. And this guy, yes, will attack here. So remember, we win draws now against them. So I'm on 2, he's on 1, plus I can choose to support myself from this C, which I will. So the C adds 2, 1 for the ship, 1 for the token. Now, I win the draw, so the highest they can be is 5. So all I need is place a 1 to win this. Or if I want to kill his troop, a sword. They have quite a few. See, I could risk and place a 0. Sorry, I was saying they have quite a few shield icon, so they might defend it. I could risk and place a 0, but if he places 4, I will lose. And he'll kill my knight. And I feel like the computer freaking cheats, so they know if I place them. So we'll just place a 1. Okay, so he can spend 2 of his power tokens, which he doesn't have any, to force me to choose another card, which he doesn't need to, because I'm not killing him, and he doesn't have tokens to spend on. Okay, so now we have another. This guy can march. We have 0 tokens though, so if I leave this area, I lose my barrel. But if I attack here, I'll kill. If I win, I'll end up killing him because he fled. We could probably just cancel this movement. Yeah, I end up canceling this movement because I don't need to, I feel. Because I don't want to lose a barrel. There's nothing to gain here other than killing his troop, but if a supply comes, I'd rather have more barrels. So we'll cancel this movement. And we have last movement, which will move out of from this sea into this sea. It's no combat, because none of these guys have combat. Westeros Phase. Okay. So adjust supply track. Oh. So lucky I didn't move away from my barrel, because the barrel card came. Which got updated. Oh, now we collect each power token for each area, so raid orders cannot be played this turn. Okay, so the good thing about this area, like I said, is you get 1 crown extra. So both these areas, we're just going to place crowns and collect. So we'll gain 4 this turn just for having troops here. You can't place orders if you don't have troops, even if it's your home garrison. So I cannot raid anything. I can still support. We want to support with them, and they cannot steal my support because there's no raid. Normally units could raid here. Don't want to move them. I just want to go all out on Greyjoy, so we'll attack from here to there. Actually, I need to cancel. I want to cancel this one. We'll just do +0 there, +1 here, -1 here. Oh no! They have defense here. They're defending, not bad, and they're defending here. La la. That makes it harder to capture him if they have a 4 card. Okay, in that case, still want to capture this turn. In that case, we're gonna move this guy from here into here. And do I want to keep this area? Yes, I do, because he's not moving anything into here this turn. And now we are going to attack with this ship into here. So they're going to be on 2, I'm going to be on 1. So the reason I'm doing this, I'm going to attack with something weaker, is because I want him to use his cards. So which card has a sword? His 1 card has a sword, and his 4 card has a sword. Those are the only 2 that are dangerous to me. if you are not being supported, this card gains 2 swords as well. And this one doesn't. Okay, so I still don't want to lose my ship. So I'm going to place something. Oh shit. That's a bit stupid. My aim was actually to play one of the card with a defense token. Sorry, a tower. But I realized I used it earlier. Oh no, I didn't. I just don't have one. Right, whatever. Okay, in that case, I have to be more smart. Ooh, I maybe stuff this up a little bit. Okay, so I just have to make sure I beat this. If he uses his best card, that's okay. So I'll use it too. Oh, phew! So I end up winning. Worked out good then. And he can only retreat to his port because I came from that sea, and this sea is occupied by a different opponent. Even if he's your ally, well, use ally. Allies are non-binding here, but you can make alliances somewhere. Okay, you can make alliances. Maybe not in this version of the game, but normally you can. One of these buttons here. I'll show you when we play the game. Now the last march order. So he's gonna be on 3, I'm gonna be on 4 maximum, but do I want to use my number 3 card or my number 4 card? That's the question. We'll just attack with both, and I am going to keep that area. So we're on 4, he's on 3, he can be on 7 maximum because I saw his cards. So we'll just play a 7. If I win this combat, I choose where he runs away to. And like I said, I win the draws in combat. And yeah, because my card lets me, text lets me choose where he runs away to, I'll make him run away to here, just simply because I want less orders being placed. Westeros Phase. Ooh, Wildings Attack. Okay. So why I went from 1 to 5 is because the Consolidate Power area, we got more power tokens. So we adjust our supplies. So like I kept the barrel states, and now the third card is Wildings Attacks. So we have, so now we are a team. We're trying to defeat the Wildings. So the Wildings strength is 8. And something good will happen if you're the highest bidder. Something bad will happen to everyone if we lose. Sorry, something good will happen if we win and you're the highest bidder. If we lose, something bad will happen to everyone, and if you're the lowest bidder, so if you put the lowest amount of bids, tokens in, the worst thing will happen to you. There is one of the Wilding cards that nothing happens. Okay, but the aim objective of this mission is to kill the Wilding. So I could beat 9 or 8 and automatically win. But you in real game you don't want to spend all your tokens, because you do want to have the tokens left for moving out units, and you want to bid on influence track. So it's kind of like, how much do I want to spend? Well, still want to win, but I don't want to use too much tokens. So you could talk to your opponents, hey, can you spend 3? Can you spend 3? Like, you can type to them, or if you're on voice chat, tell them. But they could tell you, yeah, I'm going to spend 5, and they could do 0, so they can trick you. Kind because maybe the Messenger Raven guy saw what the Wildings do and he wants us to lose. But we are on 8, so if we all bid 2 we win. I'll just bid 3 just to be sure. And these guys just went mental. Okay, it's like they know the game's gonna end. But this is stupid to do. If you're playing the game, never do this. If you need 8 to beat the Wildings, do not bet 10. Makes no sense. If you want to beat 8 and be the highest, I mean, they're just going for highest bidder, which is just stupid. But if you want to beat the Wildings, go for it. But at most bid what they worth, unless you actually know something super good is gonna happen for the highest bidder, then you can go mental. So this card, the highest bidder retrieve one has card used and puts it back. So it was the Lannister, so he just gets his card back. Okay, we won. Choo 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 choo. Okay, so tutorials completed. So I already did some of the challenges by default. Okay guys, hope you learned something. If you got any questions on YouTube, ask in the comments. I'll try to answer. I'm also gonna at the same time upload a game I had, which was a 10 turn, maybe less turn game. So you can see how I actually played. I don't explain much in there because the game was, I thought it was a good game, but it was before I did the tutorial. I will soon upload more games where I actually explain more what I'm doing. Guys, remember I stream this on Twitch and I do re-upload to YouTube. So if you want to catch me on Twitch, you'll be in the comment section or just on my profile. Oh, sorry, description. And also, please join my Discord. There is a section for Game of Thrones board game. I do normally stream Warhammer Total War 2, but this is a game I will get stream regularly and play with friends. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.